Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I hope your week is going well. I hope the favor of God is shining on every single one of you. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm excited to be alive, excited to be in the plan and purpose of God. And I am ecstatic, elated, enthusiastic about our conversation tonight. Can you believe we are just a few weeks away from our Fully Alive Empowerment Conference? And I'm telling you, anticipation, expectation is building for what God is going to do in those days that we're going to gather together September 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, right here in Houston, Texas at the Harvest. It is going to be amazing. Good to see all of you that are coming in. I'm so excited. Listen, do me a favor. All right. I want you to click share and I want you to copy this link. That's how I want you to share it. Right. And I want you to tag some people in the comments. I want you to click share, copy the link, send it out in a text message to everybody you love. Send it to your favorite teacher, send it to your favorite superintendent, send it to your favorite principal, send it to the people that have made. I see Dr. Tamika right there, Dr. Tamika McKeithen on right there. I see my beautiful mother. I see Jasmine, I see Faith, all of you that are on. Listen, if you know some individuals that care about education, that care about good leadership, that care about making an impact, I want you to make sure they're a part of this conversation, because certainly they're going to be inspired today. And they're going to be even more inspired to be a part of our Fully Alive Empowerment Conference, to go ahead and get registered so that they can be a part of these sessions. Because our guest that I'll be bringing on in just a little bit, he's going to be with us. He's the National Superintendent of the Year. He's a great man, and he's going to be with us, but he's only going to be talking to those that register. He's only going to be talking to those who say, I'm going to make an investment in my growth. I'm going to make an investment in my development. I'm going to make an investment in my next level. Listen, many of you that are watching me, God has designed you for the times in which we live. And we want to make sure that you get the tools, the equipment, and the empowerment that you need to thrive in these times. All right. Listen, do me a favor as you are sharing this. I want you to tune in to this video as we get ready for Fully Alive 2025.
Never let the fight make you lose your focus. But you got to say, God, help me to stay focused on your will and what you said.
But when you are growing, you are uncomfortable. And sometimes God's got to put you in an environment that will put a demand on the power within.
Only control your thought pattern, control your thinking pattern, control your faith, and only believe. Because this could be that your faith is being stretched.
Your transition is on the other side of you conquering your fear. The reason why you haven't transitioned, the reason why you're in pain, the reason why you have knots, the reason why you have emotional issues, the reason why you're unstable is because you can't conquer your fear of going through the process of becoming another man.
You have to work out your salvation, knowing that it is He that is working in you the will to work and do His good works. He's working that will and that desire in you to endure and persevere and to do what He has called you to do.
You're so close to the blessing. Don't let the fight make you forfeit.
Listen, and don't let the fight make you miss Fully Alive 2025. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. Listen, you can go ahead and register right now, even as we're talking. Go ahead and get registered for this conference. We're so excited. Some of you, unfortunately, you just missed our 72-hour flash sale, but it's not too late for you to get in on what's going to be available. Thursday and Friday night, for all those who are registered, we're doing an early empowerment session. Okay, so from 6:30 to 7:15 for registrants only, you get to come in and there's a special empowerment time just for you. And then doors open to the public at 7:20, and at 7:30 we start our encounter on both of those nights. So Thursday night, Friday night, our encounter, our worship experience is open to the public, so you can come to that without registering. That's available. But our empowerment sessions, which are specifically designed to empower you and position you to make impact in a great way, those sessions are for those that register, as well as Saturday. Saturday is going to be jam-packed. Listen, Thursday night, Pastor John Hanna and with Miss Lisa Brunson leading worship. Friday night, Pastor Kofi Darty and our worship team leading worship. Saturday morning, we'll have a session. I'm excited to be pouring into you. We're going to have a high impact leadership conversation. We're going to have a high impact educators conversation. We're going to have a high impact economics and entrepreneurship conversation, high impact men, high impact women, high impact relationships, high impact singles. Everything's going to be high impact, and we're empowering you for that. Then closing out on that Sunday, also celebrating our church anniversary, Dr. Medina Pullings is going to be with us. So I just need you to make preparations because it's going to be powerful. Get registered, get registered, get registered. Now, tonight, I'm so honored and I'm excited to be joined by a great man whom I consider a man of faith, a man of vision, who is also, as I mentioned, the National Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Walter Gonsoulin. He is passionate about shaping the future of education. He is a cutting-edge, world-class leader, and I'm honored to have him tonight. I need y'all to do me a favor. Jump down in those comments and start dropping some fire in the chat and help me welcome to tonight's conversation, Dr. Walter Gonsoulin.
Good evening, Apostle. Thank you for those
Good evening,
warm. Yeah, thank you
sir.
for those warm words of welcome.
Well, sir, you know, I'm so excited to have you on. I'm always thrilled every time we get a moment to have a conversation. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate the great man that you are. In our conversation, I'm going to bring up some things that you said to me in our most recent conversation together in just a little bit that has had me shaken since the day you said it to me. But I appreciate you so much. So thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. I want to jump right into our conversation. You were with us in February in Columbus for our Fully Alive Empowerment Conference there. And I thought what you shared was so meaningful. And at that time, you were a candidate for National Superintendent of the Year. And since that time, just a few short weeks after that, you were announced as the National Superintendent of the Year. So congratulations again. I want you to speak to, what does that recognition mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Oh, man, it means the world to me. First of all, I am so honored that God has put me in a position to be able to be named the National Superintendent of the Year. It speaks to the work, the vision, the implementation of all of the initiatives that we have in the school, in my current school district, and that's the work that I won off of. But it says that we are truly educating children to the fullest. And I get a chance to talk to the nation and tell the nation how we did that. How do we provide some of the resources and services for children? And I'm very humbled by it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. When you think about your educational journey, where did that passion for education, that's so obvious, that passion for education, where did that come from?
Yeah, I would have to trace it back to my childhood. Trace it back to how my mother would sit with me and just make sure that I was prepared. I still remember some of the writing activities my mother used to do and penmanship activities. It didn't work, but that she used to do when I was in the first and second grade to make sure that I had, just great penmanship and just that will and desire to want to learn, right? And somewhere around late high school, early college, it hit me that because of my experiences in K-12, and a lot of it, I was looking at the different my colleagues, whether it was in high school, whether I went to college, and I was listening and looking, and I was always wondering if the quality of education and opportunities that I had as a child coming up through K-12, if I truly receive the same quality as children in other zip codes, right?
Wow.
And sometimes I didn't feel that the quality was there. So I became determined to want to ensure that I had an impact on communities and schools and children so that they can have a quality education. But it came from my experience with education and how I interpreted the quality of education that I was receiving.
That's phenomenal. You know, it speaks to the fact, I remember a couple of years ago, the Lord taught me something. He said, son, oftentimes vision is born out of a burden. So there's
Yes.
something that was so painful or so challenging to
Yeah.
me or perplexing to
Right.
me
Right.
that it pushed me to consider how might I be a solution to it or bring aid and assistance
Right.
to it. And I think
Yes.
that's so
Yes.
critical because I think success in any true arena, and really that's what we're talking about when we talk about calling, it's that place where
Right.
what we hate to see and what we love to do intersects, and that's where purpose
I
seems to be
like that.
found. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. It's that
Right. Right.
calling, and the people who thrive in a field are typically the people that have a sense of calling, that there's a reason behind this for me that's beyond the amount of money I'll make doing it, but I really do it for the outcome, not just the income.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so I mean, that is so powerful, what you've just said. And oftentimes I've just started my 36 year in education,
Wow.
and so I've had 36 first day of schools. Man, I love it, right? And and I'm often questioned and saying, Doc, when are you gonna hang it up? Or do you really think you could do this? Or you really could do? And the reason my measurement, my evaluation of what I do and why I do it, I'm telling you, it's internal and it's different from another person's reasons for doing something. I remember in my community school, and I grew up in the Southwest Louisiana in some of the housing projects there, and and when I was in my community schools, I remember being academic superstar, right?
Wow.
And making honor roll, getting awards for reading and all this stuff. And then when I went outside of my community and I began to meet other children from other communities, then I said, wait a minute, something's wrong, and I'm sitting in high level classes or, what they considered high level classes. And I just felt like I had missed something, that I wasn't placed in a position to compete. And that made me work harder, right? But it also brought me pain because I took it personal. I was like, what? Who? Why did this happen? I'm in high school, and it seems like my counterparts know things that I've not been introduced to. Now I don't know
Mm,
if that was accurate or not, but that was the feeling of it, right? And so
mm.
I competed. And I remember going to college, and when I decided to go in education, I decided that I didn't want another child to feel like that. I wanted to be in a community, in an area that children feel they know that they've been prepared, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their parents' socioeconomic status, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
providing a quality education. And so that's been my motivation. That's been my why.
I love it. That is powerful, sir. And it's obvious in the work that you're doing. Now, you are currently, just so people
Right.
will know this, you're in Birmingham, Alabama at the Jefferson County Schools. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. That's correct.
Yes, sir.
And it's
And
the second largest school district in the state of Alabama.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about that, because you and I were talking a little bit about how many students are there, staff and faculty. I want to give a little bit of the scope
Yeah,
of that so we understand that.
yeah, yeah. We have over 35,000 students that we serve, kindergarten through 12th grade, 57 schools, 13 high schools, building our 14th high school, um, 11 middle schools, um, and 30 elementary schools with a couple of specialty schools as well. And we have 4,500 um, employees, faculty, and staff members. And that's
Wow.
everything from bus drivers to teachers to cafeteria workers to nurses, everybody.
Amazing. It's phenomenal. Listen, I'm not going to let everybody in on some of the cutting edge things that you all are doing in the district. We may whet their appetite with a few, but I'm telling you, for those
Right.
educators who want to be inspired, because I think it's important. I was thinking about this, Dr. G. The Bible says that those who walk with wise men will be wise. There's something about
Right.
who you sit with, who you're in the company of. Bible says iron sharpens iron. And I think my heart for this session that we're doing, that just really focuses in on educators, in particular, educators, administrators, et cetera, is really designed to bring educators in a space, because I really have a great love for them. Some of the most impactful people in my life and journey have been teachers. They've been educators. They've
Right.
been
Right.
administrators. You were the assistant principal at my middle school. Who would have thought that? Woo!
Yeah,
27
Lee Middle
years ago, is
School.
that? My God.
Right. Right. Right.
and
Right.
and to see where the journey has gone. But I also look at so many teachers that invested in me, that saw something in me, that cultivated something and served students always. We really wanted to have a time for them to just be inspired, to be poured
Yeah.
into.
Right.
And you are, in just hearing you talk and think about vision and leadership, is
Yes.
inspiring. You
Thank you.
when you start talking about high impact leadership, because that's another one of the panels you'll be a part of. Actually, the first one on Saturday you'll be a part of with me. When we talk about high impact leadership, what is it to you that separates a good leader from a high impact leader, especially in education and community? What separates a good leader from a high impact leader?
So I would think that when you talk about being a high impact leader in education, then
Hmm.
you are that leader that you cast a vision that is very clear.
Hmm.
It challenges all of us, right? And by the way, if what your vision, if the vision that you're casting, if there's no one asking the question, who does he or she uh, thinks that they are trying to do this, right? If no one is asking that question about your vision, about your leadership, then you're probably not doing enough, right?
Wow.
Your vision is too small, um, and it's not going to have the impact that it should have. So, in terms of education, you have to set yourself as a leader where when others are talking about, they're using words to talk about outcomes. For example, when they are saying we want all of our children career and college ready, right? That's the words that they're using, right?
Yeah.
And they want inviting environments. All of that sounds lovely, but an
Hmm.
impact person, right? An impact leader will produce results that would make those words undeniably alive. It'll make them come alive. So,
Hmm.
so for example, we don't have to say career ready when we have children who are graduating from high school at 17 and 18 years old, and they've
Hmm.
already signed an employment contract making 40, 50, 60, $70,000, right? The results the results speaks for themselves,
Yes, sir.
right? And when your students, when you're graduating students who become so motivated that in terms of scholarship monies that they're earning, one cohort of graduates, um, they're always trying to out compete and beat the last cohort of graduates in the number of scholarships that they've earned. It
Hmm.
it exudes the results that you provide. It shows an example that there was a leader that was present, a leader
Yes,
with
sir.
a vision, a leader with a
I love
vision.
that.
Yeah.
Sir, that's phenomenal. So, I'm over here taking notes too. That's what I like to do.
Okay. All right. All right.
Passing that vision, challenging the status quo, producing results. I think all of
Yeah.
that is extremely critical. The thing about being a high impact leader is that every leader faces challenges.
Yes.
Every leader. Matter of fact, I think leadership exists because challenges exist.
That's
Leaders
right.
exist because obstacles exist, and leaders are the ones who help to pave and prepare a path for people to overcome those obstacles and challenges. I see
That's right.
joining us, Pastor J. Marcus Brooks. I see you there. And Pastor Timothy Bourne is on speaking to us, Dr. G. So they're on
Oh
speaking.
man,
Yes,
that's
sir.
that's my guy right there, man.
That's right. He's on. So I want to make sure you knew that.
All
So you
right.
start thinking about schools and churches, education. What has been one of the biggest leadership challenges you faced, and how do you feel like you overcame it in an impactful way?
So I would say one of the challenges that I faced is is simple. It's been the same thing, people believing in the vision that you're casting, right?
Yes.
Um, and again, asking that question: Who does he think that he is? Right? I remember when I led in my hometown, right? They always refer to, isn't that Walter's boy?
Come on.
Uh, isn't that Donnell's boy? Who does he think he is? Where we having a community meeting and he's only 19 years old and he's speaking at the community meeting and providing leadership, right? Casting vision. Isn't that the kid that lives in apartment F3, right?
Yes.
Right. And so being underestimated has
Come
always
on.
been a challenge, right? Being underestimated has always been a challenge. And so, but that was an easy challenge for me because that was never my measurement of evaluation,
Hmm.
other people's opinion of whether I could do something or not. It was never a part of my evaluation that I did for myself,
Yes, sir.
and so God has always prepared resources, opportunities, um, desire, passion. He's always provided that internally for me. So while everybody else was watching me, I was being guided by something in the inside that I was watching, and I just allowed that to go forth. And so how did I overcome that? I had to, I mean, just simple as I could put it, I had to believe in God. I
Hmm.
had to know the word of God, and I had to know what the word of God said about my life.
Yes,
I
sir.
had to know those promises, right? And I know sometimes we separate the secular from the spiritual,
Hmm.
and we say, well, that's on the job, so that philosophy or that ideology doesn't fit. Yes, it does, because it's all spiritual, and it has always been spiritual, right? And so, just relying on God's word for my life and remembering what He took me from, what we've gone through together. Man, I could apply that to anything. I could apply it to me opening up a nonprofit organization and open up a foundation in the name of my parents for education.
Love
to
it.
becoming the National Superintendent of the Year. My God is what guides me, what motivates me has never been other people's opinion.
Yes,
It's
sir.
always been hope from God.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love that. And that thing that exists in you exudes from you.
Thank
You
you.
know, that's the hope, that's the possibility. And I'm seeing people in the comments that are giving feedback and they're being blessed by the things you're sharing because you exude that hope. And I think that's critical for high impact leaders. Because the thing about leaders is we are experiencing the world that others are experiencing. But
Right.
the challenge of high impact leaders is that we have to then provide a path, provide a picture, provide a plan for how people can rise above that and then ignite that hope in them. So I think that's just a tremendous a blessing there. And you certainly have always exuded that. When you obviously when you think about with our educators, and I believe now, and I think you would agree, the conversation with educators right now is very critical. You know,
It's very, yeah.
there are some many districts. I know of a few that are challenged staffing wise, having enough staff there, and so many other challenges that they're dealing with. So many questions, wondering with all the things coming, and some of this we'll get into at our Fully Alive conference. So shameless plug, please get registered because he and I only have just a little bit longer this conversation, but we're going to take some time at Fully Alive to really understand this. But when you start thinking about it, what would you hope in a conversation like this, or in a conversation like we'll have at the conference? What would you hope teachers, principals, administrators would take away from it?
First, let me say that to be in the world and the field of education it is an honorable profession.
Absolutely.
It's actually a calling, right?
Yes, sir.
And but I also want to recognize that, especially in public education, that there's an intentional um, attack on public education
Yes, sir.
uh, to demonize it, to put it in a way that seems like it's not valuable. And so the one thing that I want, it was a couple of things that I'd like for educators, especially those who are in the public sector, public school sector, to understand is that, you know, our profession is admirable, it's valuable, and it's critical. And
Mm-hmm.
I would want them to take away that, that the passion that we have inside ourselves, each one of us, to teach children really makes an impact on society, on communities, and individuals. And I would challenge them to have a um, a a vision for those children and their outcomes that allows those children to be everything that God has created them to be, and to push them. And I'm not talking about pushing so hard where they fall down, but gently having your hands on their backs and their shoulders, and
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging them to let them know that there's nothing that you can't do if you have God in your life, and anything that the state has set in place for you to reach, anything that uh, whatever that is, right? To encourage those educators to know that our children can learn. They can learn. And we
Yes, sir.
can teach them, all of them, right? To their maximum capacity. But we have to be determined to make sure that that happens.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much, Dr. G. I want to give a moment here. We're having just a few technical issues here. So Dr. G, we're going to let you get repositioned there. just for a moment, and we'll get things reset and make sure he's able to get right back in place with us. But listen, I want to take this moment. You guys hopefully are all ready. I see Dr. Tamika there. We must have a vision for our students and their outcomes so they can be everything. That's exactly right. As he said, Mother Joe or C. Joe, I love that you, sir. That's exactly right. And I love that about Dr. G as well, Dr. Walter Gonsoulin. He is certainly a man of faith. I want to say this, please, let's highlight this. I want you guys to see this. To all of our educators, we have a very special offer for you. A part of it is just our honor for you and what you do and the work that you do. There is a special discount for educators if you will type in that code TEACH. Okay, so to all of our educators, administrators, principals, go ahead and register. If you'll type in that code TEACH, it will allow you to have a special discount so that you can be a part of this conversation, because we certainly don't want you to miss what is happening and what is going to happen at Fully Alive. Throw that up there. Let them see it again. Let me talk just a little bit about the conference. I see Dr. G getting back in place for our final stretch here. But I certainly hope every single one of you, there he is.
So I don't know what happened. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem. No problem. That's okay. We're just kind of leaning in. I want to do this. We're going to kind of wrap up the conversation there. But one of the things that has been a couple things that I guess two things I want you to speak to before we end our time. First of all, teachers and all leaders, and we all individuals, but teachers and educators, administrators, leaders have a unique opportunity to shape the legacy and to leave a legacy of impact and transformation. I guarantee you, every single person watching us right now has a story of some teacher, some educator who impacted your life in some way. And no matter how many years removed from school that you are, you remember that moment, you remember that lesson. And in 36 years, there are a lot of stories. There are a lot of amazing stories. But when you think back about one story that if you could say, man, this kind of characterized what matters so much to me, right? One of the stories with a student, an educator that you've been able to work with, because it's really about the stories. People think it's just, it's the stories behind the stats that keep us getting up. It's the names.
It's about the people, man.
It's about the people. Yes, sir. Yes. So tell us if there was one story that you think, man, this was the one right here, or this is one of those ones that I'll just always remember. What would that be?
You know, I'm always, even when I competed at the national level, I was asked that same question, right? And I was like, just one? Can I get two? Right? Because there's always, man, if you've been in it this long, you're going to have so many powerful stories and impactful stories, especially if you're doing something, right?
That's right.
But I would say the thing that choked me up the most was a couple of years ago. We had a vision as a leadership team, and that vision was to provide children with the opportunity to follow their dreams and to maximize their achievements, right? And so we started this program or initiative where I stated it earlier, where we want to ensure that children graduate with employment opportunities. Actually, and I didn't want just opportunities. I wanted employment. I wanted to see them sign a contract. And I remember people said, Doc, come on, man. I mean, you're going too deep. You're going too far, man. It's college and career. And I said, you really don't want to know how deep I really want to go, right? And so, but anyway, we put this plan in place to ensure that children can have the opportunity to be hired and get employment before they graduate from high school. And so 2 years ago, I had this Hispanic student It was a young lady.
I'm sorry, we just had another technical issue there. Well, hopefully he'll be able to get back in place there. Do me a favor, guys. If this is blessing you, go ahead and share this with as many people as you can. I am already just excited, man, just elated. I'm encouraged by our conversation. I hope you're already being inspired and encouraged to be such a great man of wisdom, insight, humility, character, a heart for God and people. You're going to be blessed by what God does in your life at Fully Alive. And so I really want you guys to make preparations to be there. You can go ahead and get registered now. Don't forget, Thursday night, your registration allows you to be a part of our empowerment sessions each night at 6:30. Our encounter session is open to the public. Again, Thursday night, Pastor John Hanna. On Friday night, Pastor Kofi Darty. Saturday morning, we kick off. I actually get a few moments to just speak in and empower. Listen, there are some things that God's placed in my heart I can't wait to share with you, to really just sharpen, to really aim. It is my belief that in the times that we live in, God is putting kingdom representation in every sphere and space of life. And I want to see you succeed in family, in the religious space, in education, in economics, in government, in arts and entertainment, science and technology. We want to talk about it. We want to unpack it. I want to talk because we're living in very critical times, and the quality of leaders and caliber of leaders we have are critical for the times we live in. And so we're talking about that. Thank you so much. I see you there. Isaiah says, I can't wait. I'm so excited that you're going to be a part of it. Those sessions are really like thinking about how do you become the woman that the times demand? How can we be the men that our times demand? How can we have families, relationships that our times demand? How can I, as a single, maximize the times that I am living in right now? That is really what our aim is going to be, to really, really put tools in your hands. It's going to be amazing. My sister, Megan Ashley, is going to be with us on Saturday as well. So I didn't mention that earlier, but we've had such an amazing response to those that knew that Megan Ashley is going to be with us. And I'm so excited about what God is doing in her life. She and I were around college about the same time there in Ohio, and I'm so grateful for what God is doing through her life. And she's going to be with us and going to be a part of a powerful conversation. Pastor J. Marcus Brook, my good friend Kareen from Philly Connect right here in Houston. Philly Connect is one of my favorite ministries in the city of Houston. What they're doing among young adults is just phenomenal. So she'll be joining us for that day. We've got some power couples going to be a part of it. It's just going to be amazing. And I want you to make sure you get registered for that. All right. Dr. G's back in place. I'm going to let him finish telling us this story if we can. Let's see if we can
Man, I
finish our
apologize,
story here.
man.
It's all good.
We're having all kind of problems. Well, long story short, we started this particular program, and so this young lady entered into our construction design academy, and after graduation, her father came to me, and he was crying, and he said, when they had moved to this state and to this school district 6 years ago, child was in middle school. He was worried. He was concerned because they could barely speak English, and he thought for certain that her language was going to be her biggest barrier to education. He was concerned about that, and he said, but after 6 years of education in Jefferson County schools, and when she joined that construction academy, she received the credentials that allowed her to make $72,000 a year as an 18-year-old. And the
Wow.
reason why she was able to make that amount of money, number one, she had the credentials, but number two, because she was bilingual. And he said, y'all turned what we thought was our liability into our greatest asset. And I'm a father. And so I know when I saw those tears in his eyes, I knew what those tears represented. Because your child is your most valuable asset. And
Yes,
you
sir.
want to make sure that they're put in a position to succeed and to be everything that God has called them to be. And man, that I thought I had some good stories before that day. But that gentleman and I, we embraced each other. And from one man to the next, from one father to the next, he reminded me, and his daughter did too, of why it was important for me to be the type of educational leader that didn't think inside the box, didn't think outside the box, but we think as if there is no box.
I love
And we
that.
believe, and there's no box in the room. Who put the box in the room, right? Find the box, get it out of there, and think and implement things that changes people's life.
Dr. G, thank you, sir. Thank you for the
Thank
way you
you.
serve. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your leadership. I celebrate and appreciate you. And I can't wait to have you here for Fully
I can't
Alive 2025. It's going to be amazing. Listen to all of our friends. I'm so thankful that you guys have joined us and you've been a part of this amazing time together tonight. Hopefully you already see why you need to get registered, why somebody, listen, we're getting close, but registration is still open to you. And maybe you may run across somebody who says, I can't make the sessions, but I want to be a part of those encounters. We wanted to, through Fully Alive, as we celebrate these 35 years as a ministry, merge together encounter and empowerment, revival and equipping and empowering people to be their best and to make the impact we've been designed and called by God to make in the world. And I want you to be a part of it. Listen, one of the things that I said, I'd mention it as we close out tonight. Last time I was able to sit over lunch with Dr. Gonsoulin, and we were talking about, I was asking him a question about culture and leadership and how do you establish within your staff of some 4,500 people this mindset to operate at a high level? And he says, wait, not just a high level, the highest level. And that small difference, that EST added to high, is so critical. And I believe God is calling believers in this season, hear me carefully, to operate at the highest level. And I believe what you invest in, the decisions you make, where you put your resources matter, where you invest your time, your resources matter. I promise you this, you will come to Fully Alive and you will walk away saying, I am so glad I invested my time and I invested my resources into this experience. I am forever better because I did so. All right. Listen, I love you guys. Go ahead and get registered. Don't forget, to all of our educators, administrators, principals, we want you, use that special discount code, TEACH, as you go to the link there to get registered. Add that discount code, all caps, TEACH, and you'll get a special discount to be a part of that day. We're just doing it as an extension of our gratitude to you for what you do and for the impact that you make. All right. God bless every one of you. I love you much. I can't wait to see you at Fully Alive. It is going to be amazing. I'll see you there.
Never let the fight make you lose your focus. But you got to say, God, help me to stay focused on your will and what you said.
But when you are growing, you are uncomfortable. And sometimes God's got to put you in an environment that will put a demand on the power within.
Only control your thought pattern, control your thinking pattern, control your faith, and only believe, because this could be that your faith is being stretched.
Your transition is on the other side of you conquering your fear. The reason why you haven't transitioned, the reason why you're in pain, the reason why you have knots, the reason why you have emotional issues, the reason why you're unstable is because you can't conquer your fear of going through the process of becoming another man.
You have to work out your salvation, knowing that it is He that is working in you the will to work and do His good works. He's working that will and that desire in you to endure and persevere and to do what He has called you to do.
You're so close to the blessing. Don't let the fight make you forfeit.